we're going to do one of the most sacred battles ever. Marvel versus DC. Who is winning TV? For the purpose of this video, I'm talking about Marvel's Netflix properties and DC's CW properties. So shows like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Gotham, Lucifer, the shows that are on, A, they're on different networks, and B, they're not as superhero-y as the ones I'm talking about, and frankly not as good. I'm not going to talk about those for right now. As far as the CW goes, the CW has 4 DC shows going on this season. Supergirl, Flash, Arrow, and Legends of Tomorrow. So, these shows, while they're all different in some ways, there are many things that they do have in common. These superhero shows tend to be very Monster of the Week heavy, somewhat predictable, lighter, and that may mean for some people cornier or sillier, but they have the plots of these shows tend to be very episodic, where every episode we're on a different mission, we're fighting a different person, we're doing a different thing. One of the big things about the CW shows is that since it's very episodic, you can have very good episodes and very bad episodes. So oftentimes the tone between episodes can be very different during these shows. The thing about the CW shows is that they can be sillier and cornier, but at the same time, they embrace superhero-ness a little bit more, if that makes sense. In these shows, people wear masks, people have capes, they really try to embrace, the chaos and the fun of being superheroes. But this can also lead to them being sillier and cornier than some people might not enjoy. The big thing is that episodes can be either hit or miss depending on what show you're watching. And in my opinion, The Flash will probably have the best episodes, and shows like Supergirl and Arrow are going to have more of the meh to bad episodes. Alright, moving on to the Marvel Netflix shows. Currently, the Marvel Netflix shows they're making shows about the Defenders team. So far, we've had 2 seasons of Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage came out last week. We have Iron Fist and the Punisher and the Defenders team-up show on the horizon. But for right now, I'm just talking about the 3 shows that are out right now. I'm mainly using those for reference. Marvel Netflix shows tend to be very dark and very gritty. These shows are also a lot less episodic. So since they're on Netflix, the entire season will drop all at once. So most people like me will watch, Daredevil or Jessica Jones or Luke Cage, for instance, will watch the entire season at once and then be done with it. So it feels less like a TV show and more just like a really long movie, which can have its pros and its cons. One of the pros is that, unlike the CW shows, it doesn't feel as episodic. It feels like one constant narrative throughout, especially with a show like Daredevil. I think the overall quality of the Netflix shows, as far as the production value, is better, and I think it's just because Netflix is able to do things that they really can't get away with on network television. Now, one of the downsides of Netflix shows is that one of the biggest complaints that they get is that, and this is common between Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and both seasons of Daredevil, is that they can feel too long. Oftentimes, they have an awesome opening and an awesome ending, but the middle, there's a lot of filler and kind of stuff that doesn't necessarily need to be there. And since you're watching them on Netflix and the entire season comes out at once, it can kind of feel like a chore to watch the entire season of the show. So, at the end of the day, what shows are better? What shows are honestly better? The Marvel Netflix shows or the DC CW shows? Who's better? And my answer is, it depends. It really depends, because I think that while I believe that the Netflix Marvel shows are superior shows, they're definitely not for everyone. In a show like, for instance, Jessica Jones is very dark. Like, an aborted fetus, I'm not kidding, is a plot point in the show. And it's one of those things where, say if you have a kid or you have a younger sibling or something like that, a kid should not be watching Jessica Jones. I don't think they should be watching, and they probably shouldn't be watching Daredevil or Luke Cage either, just because of how violent they are, right? I would definitely push children or younger people to watch the CW shows. They're a lot lighter, they're a lot funnier, and they embrace the kind of the dorky part of being a superhero a bit more. Also, the CW shows, since they're episodic, I will say that it's sometimes a little bit more fun to be a fan of the CW shows, because since you have one episode a week, every time an episode comes out, you know, people are live tweeting what's happening, people making theories about what's going to happen in later episodes or later in the season. It feels like more of a thing that you're able to keep up with because you have these episodes week to week to week to week. You know, with the Netflix shows, there's a lot of hype right before they come out. We all watch it in one weekend, talk about how great the shows are, the show is, or the shows are for a couple weeks, and then everybody moves on. You know, it's really, you know, I really enjoyed Luke Cage, which I will be reviewing soon. I really enjoyed it, but afterwards, you know, the hype kind of goes down because we know we're not going to get a season 2 for a long time, and the next show, Iron Fist, isn't going to come out until March, which is pretty much like 6 months away. So levels of like hype and me just being excited kind of goes down. But with the CW shows, I've got 4 episodes of CW shows every week with Supergirl, Flash, Arrow, and Legends. So there's something for me to be excited for every week. And I don't really get that with the Netflix shows. But I will say the Netflix shows, as far as shows, they are higher quality. But since they only come out twice a year, they honestly feel like movies to me and not like TV shows. So I guess my conclusion is that you can enjoy both. You know, we live in pretty much the golden age of being a nerd and being a geek. There are so many awesome shows out there, and there's plenty of time for you to binge Netflix shows on the weekends and get caught up on those, and enjoy the CW shows week to week. And across each various show, there are differences. You know, I will say that, for instance, like a Luke Cage show has a very big blaxploitation vibe, and not everyone's gonna love that. You know, Jessica Jones deals with a lot of like rape and PTSD and survivor's guilt and stuff like that. While the CW shows, you'll have something like The Flash, which is very much like a guy with power saving the city every week. Or you have a show like Supergirl, which is, you know, about a girl with powers who can do these awesome, crazy things. You wouldn't really see that in a Marvel show. So, in my opinion, you know, it just depends on what you're looking for as a fan and as a watcher. So yeah, that's my opinion on the CW versus Netflix debacle. If you haven't caught it, last week I did a live reaction to the season premiere of The Flash. If you want my opinion on the premieres last week, really quick, Flash's was good, shorter than I thought, but I'm excited to see where it goes. Arrow's was okay. I don't think it necessarily did what it needed to do to make people who are pissed off about Arrow Season 4 kind of change their minds. But I'm going to keep watching it. We'll see where it goes. I'm excited for the big crossover coming out later. And yeah, we'll see what happens. And my Luke Cage review will probably be up next week. I kind of did like a hype video that like nobody saw, but that's okay. I'm kind of waiting for the dust to settle because everyone was talking about Luke Cage, and I kind of want to wait a couple weeks so I can make a full spoiler review along with theories and my hopes and dreams for the future of Marvel Netflix and things that I want them to do. So look out for that next week. And until next time, I will see you later. Peace.